There is a law of nature more unbreakable than gravity that governs our world. It is not found in physics textbooks, but in the budget offices of every major capital on Earth. It is this: defense budgets can only go up. They can rise slowly, they can surge explosively, but they almost never, ever shrink. In peacetime, in wartime, in economic boom or devastating recession, the money allocated to the military is the one line item that seems immune to cuts. Why? Is it because the world is getting exponentially more dangerous every single year? Or is there a deeper, more systemic engine at work, a machine that has perfected the art of turning fear into fuel and anxiety into dollars? If you've ever looked at the news and wondered why we always seem to have money for new jets but not for new schools, you're in the right place. Tell me right now in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it? And if you're ready to understand the invisible forces shaping our world, hit like, share this video to break the spell, and subscribe. This is a story of power, profit, and perpetual motion. To understand this law, we must first dismantle a comforting myth. We imagine defense spending as a simple, reactive transaction. A threat emerges, and we spend money to counter it. Once the threat is gone, the spending stops. This is a fairy tale. In reality, defense spending is proactive, institutional, and addictive. It is the lifeblood of a vast and intricate ecosystem, a triple alliance of power, so entrenched that to challenge it is to challenge the modern state itself. This is not about any one country. It's a global playbook. The actors are always the same. First, the guardians, the political and military leadership whose power and purpose are tied to the scale of the arsenal they command. Second, the builders, the colossal private corporations that design, lobby for, and profit from the weapons. And third, the constituency, the millions of citizens whose jobs, pensions, and community identities are woven into the fabric of the war machine. Together, they form a closed loop of mutual reinforcement, a perpetual motion machine for cash. Let's start with the guardians. For a politician, advocating for a larger defense budget is the ultimate no-lose proposition. It frames you as strong, patriotic, and serious about security. Voting against a defense bill, however, is a political landmine. You can be instantly labeled weak, naive, or even a danger to the nation. This creates a powerful bipartisan pressure where outbidding your opponent on supporting the troops becomes a competition. But here's the crucial twist. The definition of security is infinitely elastic. In the 1950s, it was the Soviet bomber gap. In the 2000s, it was global terrorism. Today, it is great power competition with China and Russia, cyber warfare, and hypersonic missiles. The threat landscape is deliberately kept vast, complex, and technologically dizzying, ensuring that no politician can afford to suggest we are safe enough. The military bureaucracy itself, often called the Pentagon or the brass, plays a masterful game. They never ask for what they think they'll get. They ask for what they truly want, anticipating and banking on congressional cuts. This bid-high strategy means they often end up with exactly what they needed in the first place. Furthermore, they expertly spread projects, a submarine's hull welded here, its electronics fitted there, its final assembly somewhere else across as many congressional districts as possible. This turns every weapons system into a nationwide jobs program, making it politically toxic to cancel. This brings us to the builders, the arms industry. We are not talking about a free market. This is a state-sponsored oligopoly. Their primary customer is the government, and their product is something that, by its very nature, must never be used to its full potential. Their genius lies in making failure profitable. Consider the F-35 Lightning to fighter jet. It is the most expensive weapons program in human history, with a lifetime cost pushing $1.7 trillion. It has been plagued for years by software glitches, engine troubles, and cost overruns. And yet, It has never been seriously canceled. Why? Sunk cost fallacy. Weaponized. After you've spent hundreds of billions, admitting it was a mistake is politically impossible. So, more money is poured in to fix the problems. The contracts are often cost-plus, meaning the company's profit is a percentage of the total cost. This perversely incentivizes delays and overruns the more expensive the project, the higher the profit. The revolving door between the Pentagon and corporate boardrooms spins incessantly. The retired general who approved a contract last year is the vice president of the company fulfilling it this year. This isn't corruption in a back room. It's a seamless career path, ensuring that the interests of the guardians and the builders remain perfectly aligned. But the machine would grind to a halt without its most powerful component, the constituency. This is you. This is the engineer in Texas working on Apache helicopters, the factory worker in Ohio building Abrams tank engines, the software developer in Seattle programming military drones, the cafe owner outside a naval base in Virginia. This is also the school teacher whose state pension fund is heavily invested in the stocks of Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman. The defense economy is not some abstract, distant entity. It is deeply democratized pain. Cutting the budget doesn't just mean fewer missiles. It means lost jobs, shuttered businesses, collapsing home values in company towns, and underfunded retirement accounts. When a politician tries to reduce military spending, they are not just facing lobbyists in Washington. They are facing angry voters in their own district who see their livelihood directly threatened. This is why even the most peace-loving politicians tread carefully. They are not just fighting the military-industrial complex. They are fighting the very communities they were elected to serve. Now, witness this iron triangle in action through the most telling example, the peace dividend that never was. The end of the Cold War in 1991 presented a historic opportunity. The Soviet Union, the existential threat that had justified astronomical spending for 50 years, had vanished. The logic was simple. With no great enemy, we could drastically cut defense and redirect those billions of peace dividend towards infrastructure, science, or debt reduction. For a brief moment, it worked. Defense spending did dip in the 1990s, but the machine adapted with terrifying efficiency. It needed a new enemy, and it found not one, but a hydra of them, rogue states like Iraq and North Korea, asymmetrical warfare, and finally, the open-ended, borderless global war on terror. The budget, after its brief stumble, began a relentless climb that continues to this day, now exceeding Cold War peaks. The machine had done something remarkable. It had decoupled itself from a specific, state-based enemy. It now thrived on the concept of perpetual amorphous threat. Terrorism can never be fully eradicated, only managed. This created the perfect business model, an endless war against a tactic, not a territory, guaranteeing endless demand for new technologies, surveillance, and special operations. This is the hidden engine. It is a system designed for self-preservation and growth. It translates geopolitical anxiety into political currency into corporate contracts, and corporate contracts into community dependency. It has made the downsizing of a nation's military not just a strategic decision, but a social and economic impossibility. But this is only half the story. The most frightening evolution is how this machine is now future-proofing itself, investing in the battlefields of tomorrow to ensure the budgets of tomorrow never, ever go down. It is building a world where war is not an event, but a permanent, profitable condition. The defense budget is a survivor. With no single enemy like the USSR, it faced a challenge. Its brilliant solution: don't find a new enemy. Invent new battlefields. It is future-proofing itself by expanding war into domains that are infinite, unwinnable, and astronomically expensive. Cyberspace, artificial intelligence, and outer space. First, the cyber domain, an invisible, borderless threat that can shut down a power grid without a soldier crossing a border. For budgets, it's perfect. The threat can never be eliminated, only endlessly defended against. New military cyber commands have sprung up, and defense giants now gobble up Silicon Valley startups. The budgets are black boxes, classified, unauditable, and permanent. Then comes the bigger leap: AI and autonomous war, marketed as cleaner and safer. It's sold as drones and robots saving human lives. The reality is an algorithmic arms race. If your rival builds AI swarms, you must build better AI to counter them. It's a feedback loop with no exit. Funding floods into target recognition, software, and lethal autonomous weapons, killer robots. This doesn't end war. It turns it into a high-tech, software upgradable subscription service. The final frontier is literal space, the creation of the U.S. Space Force was a declaration of a new budget domain. Our lives depend on satellites, so they must be protected. But protection means weaponization, anti-satellite missiles, attack satellites, space lasers. It's a circular logic. We must militarize space because they will. It guarantees trillion-dollar contracts for generations. This expansion reveals the core truth. Defense spending is no longer a response to threat. It is an investment in the infrastructure of perpetual threat management. It's a giant hedge fund betting on human conflict. It has successfully conflated innovation with destruction, capturing civilian tech and diverting it towards battle. The system is now immune to failure. The $2 trillion war on terror didn't end terrorism. Yet its failure was used to argue for more spending for newer tech. The budget is shielded by secrecy and the ultimate excuse: if we get this wrong, people die. So, the unbreakable law stands. Budgets never go down because we've built a machine that sells fear as patriotism, weaves itself into our economic survival, creates new worlds to fight in, answers to no one, hiding behind national security. It has made peace look naive and escalation look prudent. We are not paying for security. We are funding the perpetual motion machine of its own growth. So, what do you think? Is this endless growth the necessary cost of safety in a dangerous world? Or have we created a monster that sustains itself by selling us fear? Let me know in the comments. If this made you see the news differently, hit like, share this insight, and subscribe.